Now to the fight against ISIS. One world leader who has taken a very tough and blunt stance against the Islamic State terrorists and the spread of jihad is the president of Egypt. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi ordering those airstrikes against the Islamic State on Monday, bombing an ISIS training camp in Libya. That attack, of course, in response to yet another unspeakable ISIS video, the latest one, as you see there, purporting to show those 21 Egyptian citizens, all Christians, marched down a beach and beheaded. Egypt does not fly airstrikes against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, but has taken the battle now into its own hands. So, how do we all win against the radical Islamic terrorists and their spreading ideology? Joining us from Washington is the Egyptian ambassador to the United States, Mohammed Tawfiq. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for coming out in the snow this evening. My first question has to do with the spreading ideology. Here in our country, we've had the World Trade Center bombing, 9/11. You've had the attacks in Sinai that have assassinated your police and troops. How does the world get a handle on this insidious threat?
Well, it's a global battle, really, Eric. You have to deal with this on all fronts. You have to deal with these people militarily, but you also need to deal with their ideology. You need to deal with their financing, their ability to recruit people, and their messaging. And Egypt is really out there on the front line on all these fronts.
You talked about the ideology. I mean, your president, al-Sisi, in January, before this latest attack, I mean, he had that astounding and praised speech on New Year's Day, talking about the need for in his words, a religious revolution, that in his view, it has to come from the imams, it has to come from within the religion itself. Let me just give you a quote, Ambassador, to what your president said. Quote, "I say and repeat again that we are in need of a religious revolution. You imams are responsible before Allah. The entire world, I say it again, the entire world is waiting for your next move, because it's being torn, it is being destroyed, it is being lost by our own hands." What does he mean, and what does he hope?
I think what he means is that these terrorists are abusing our religion. They're using elements from religious texts in a way that was not at all how we perceive it to be, how the majority of Muslims perceive it. And it's up to us Muslims to deal with that, to take away their ability to abuse our religion. And we have to start at all levels. We have to deal with the way we educate our children, the way we address people in mosques. This is really a comprehensive approach. We have to make people understand the tolerance that is inherent in our religion. And this is something that we can do. You cannot do. You can help us. But really, this is up to us. And we are going to do it.
How can we help us? What do you want the Obama administration, what do you want Americans to do? I mean, how can we help?
Well, you can provide us with the necessary weapons we need in fighting these people. For example, we're speaking about Libya. In Libya, there's a legitimate government, and that government is denied the weapons it needs to confront the terrorists. Provide them. I mean, the Libyan government is not asking the international community to come and fight on its behalf. All it is saying is, allow us to get weapons. We are able to handle this, but help us to do so.
You know, Ambassador, that was the plea by the Syrian rebels, 2 years ago, and the White House turned it down. Hillary apparently said yes and encouraged that. Do you think, that there will be weapons given by the U.S. to the Libyans, and should there be U.S. airstrikes in Libya against ISIS, as there are, for example, in Iraq?
Well, I think the issue of airstrikes is a little bit ahead of us right now. Right now, we have an effort by the United Nations, which we support, but that effort needs to be supplemented by allowing the legitimate government in Libya to get the weapons they need. If you start early on, it is easy to control ISIS. If you wait until it's too late, until they have roots deeply in place, until they have training camps, until they control a large part of the country, then it's already too late.
So do you think it is too late now, or are we at a place now in Libya where we were 2 years ago when we dealt with Syria and Iraq?
I think today the time to act in Libya is today. There is a good opportunity to beat these people, and the Libyans themselves are capable of doing it. But they need the assistance and the support of the international community.
You say it's a good opportunity to beat these people. Overall, Ambassador, what will it take? Will it take a UN-sanctioned army? Will it take Arab and other armies on the ground, do you think, in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya to finally defeat and, as the President of the United States has said, completely degrade and destroy ISIS?
Well, right now there's a fight going on in Iraq and partly in Syria. And I'm confident that over time that fight will succeed in, first of all, containing, then defeating ISIS. But we cannot allow ISIS to get more and more strong in Libya. We have to confront them now in Libya. They control major cities in Libya, but they still don't control the whole country. This is the right time to do so, and we do not need airstrikes from the international community right now. What we do need is to support the Libyan government. They need weapons and they need training, and they need them today.
And finally, Ambassador, you know, we hear about them expanding. We hear about the atrocities, just absolutely horrendous. In a civilized world, you never would think this would happen, but it is. How do we stop it eventually? And do you think, you sound optimistic in a time when they just seem to be expanding. Are you optimistic?
Well, I am determined, as is my president and as is my people. We are determined to confront these people. We are not going to allow them to take control over our region. Egypt considers itself to be the bulwark against these extremists, and we take our role seriously. But now, these 21 people, these 21 Egyptians who were slaughtered in Libya, that should be a wake-up call to us all. The international community needs to show resolve, and that has to happen today, not in 6 months' time.
Just an horrendous situation with those 21 Christians, as all the other victims of ISIS. Ambassador Tariq of Egypt, we thank you so much this evening for coming in and giving us your view and sharing with us your faith and confidence that at some point ISIS will be defeated. Ambassador, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will have this whole interview posted online if you want to see it on foxnews.com.